Shocking twist. Joss discovers Dex alive at Five Poppies Resort. WSB mission takes devastating turn. The tranquil facade of the Five Poppies Resort in Croatia is about to shatter in the most explosive General Hospital storyline of 2025, as Jocelyn Jack's routine WSB mission spirals into an emotional nightmare that will change everything she thought she knew about love, loss, and survival. The perfect cover unravels. What began as a straightforward intelligence operation has transformed into the shock of Joss's lifetime. Partnered with Agent Vaughn and posing as blissful newlyweds on their honeymoon, Joss believed this Croatian assignment would help her prove herself as a capable WSB operative, while working to locate the mysterious activities surrounding the luxury resort. Their cover story seemed flawless, matching wedding rings, carefully constructed backstories, and the perfect romantic getaway persona. But nothing could have prepared Joss for the earth-shattering moment when she spots a familiar face serving cocktails in the resort's elegant dining room. The man approaching their table moves with a walk she recognizes, holds himself in a way that screams impossible familiarity, and bears such an uncanny resemblance to Dex Heller that Joss's wine glass trembles in her hands. Her carefully maintained composure shatters instantly as her mind races to process what her eyes are telling her. This can't be happening. Yet there he stands, very much alive. John or Dex? The manager's explanation. When Joss confronts the resort management about the server, who looks identical to her supposedly deceased boyfriend, she receives an explanation that only deepens the mystery. The manager insists that she must be mistaken. The man she saw is John, not Dex, and he has been suffering from complete amnesia. According to the staff, John arrived at the resort months ago with no memory of his past life, unable to recall anything about his identity or where he came from. The manager suggests that Joss's grief has caused her to see familiar faces in strangers, explaining that it's quite normal for people to project lost loved ones onto unfamiliar individuals when they're far from home. But Jocelyn Jacks didn't become a WSB agent by accepting convenient explanations without question. Her training kicks in as she begins cataloging every detail of the encounter. The way John held himself, the brief moment of recognition she swore she saw flash in his eyes, even the practiced nature of his movements. Everything about the interaction feels like an elaborate performance. Joss's growing suspicions. Unable to shake the feeling that she's being deceived, Joss becomes consumed with uncovering the truth. She struggles to maintain normal conversation with Vaughn, while her mind races through increasingly disturbing possibilities. Could Dex have survived somehow? Could his death have been staged? The questions multiply faster than she can process them. Her appetite vanishes as she replays every moment of Dex's final hours at General Hospital. The surgery, the complications, the moment when the monitors went silent. It had all seemed so real, so final. But what if someone had orchestrated an elaborate deception? The thought both terrifies and exhilarates her. The Five Poppies Resort, with its pristine facade and luxury amenities, has already proven to house more secrets than initially apparent. Britt Westburn's presence at the resort, alive despite everyone believing her dead, demonstrates that this Croatian paradise serves as more than just a vacation destination. If Britt could fake her death and end up here, could the same fate have befallen Dex? The dangerous truth about Five Poppies. As Joss digs deeper, she discovers that the resort harbors dark secrets involving international intrigue and possibly human trafficking operations. The facility appears to be connected to a network that spans multiple countries and continents, with the resort serving as just one node in a much larger, more sinister operation. Her investigation reveals that the resort has been used to acquire individuals who were presumed dead from medical facilities and transport them to holding facilities. Without raising suspicion, the scale and sophistication of the operation becomes clear as she uncovers evidence of medical manipulation, surgical procedures designed to fake deaths, and pharmaceutical means used to keep victims compliant. Dex's shocking revelation. Just when Joss believes she can't take any more surprises, Dex himself approaches her, no longer maintaining the John facade. He reveals the truth that will change everything between them. He confirms that he is indeed alive, but his survival comes with a devastating price. He genuinely doesn't remember their relationship or their shared past. However, Dex's amnesia isn't the result of trauma or accident. In the most shocking twist of all, he reveals that he too is working for the WSB. His death had been carefully orchestrated as part of a deep cover mission that required him to disappear completely from his old life. The WSB had assigned him to infiltrate the Five Poppies operation months before Joss's arrival, and his amnesia was simply part of his cover story. The WSB connection. Dex explains that his mission involved going undercover to investigate the resort's connection to international criminal networks. The WSB suspected that Five Poppies was being used as a front for various illegal activities, and they needed someone who could disappear without raising suspicion. His apparent death provided the perfect opportunity to create a new identity and insert him into the operation. The revelation that both Joss and Dex are working for the same organization, yet on separate missions, adds another layer of complexity to their reunion. Neither had been informed about the other's involvement, creating a situation where their personal relationship threatens to compromise both of their professional objectives. Emotional reunion amid danger. Despite the complicated circumstances surrounding their reunion, Joss experiences overwhelming relief that Dex is alive. The months of grief and mourning she endured suddenly feel like a nightmare she's finally waking up from. However, their emotional reunion must be carefully managed to avoid blowing both of their covers. The danger surrounding them at Five Poppies is very real. Their investigation has already attracted unwanted attention from the resort's security forces, and several attempts have been made on both Joss and Vaughn's lives. The revelation of Dex's true identity adds another variable to an already volatile situation. As Joss processes this incredible turn of events, she realizes that their reunion may be short-lived if they cannot successfully complete their respective missions and escape the resort safely. The criminal organization running Five Poppies has no qualms about eliminating threats, and the discovery that two WSB agents have infiltrated their operation could prove fatal for everyone involved. The stage is now set for a high-stakes conclusion to this storyline, as Joss and Dex must navigate their rekindled relationship while working to expose the sinister operations at Five Poppies and escape with their lives. Their love story, which seemed to have ended in tragedy, is getting a second chance, but only if they can survive the dangerous game they've found themselves playing in the Croatian resort. Next, we're diving deep into the brewing storm surrounding Drew Kane and a potential betrayal that could shake Port Charles to its core. In the ever-twisting world of General Hospital, Drew Kane has been strutting around like he owns the entire town, bending rules and making bold moves without a second thought. But whispers from the latest spoilers suggest that his overconfident reign might be on the verge of a dramatic collapse, courtesy of an unexpected backstabber emerging from the shadows. Imagine the shock when someone close to him decides it's time to play dirty, flipping the script and aiding in his downfall. Drew's been stacking up enemies faster than a house of cards in a windstorm, turning former allies into bitter foes with his relentless ambition. This isn't just petty drama, it's a full-blown revenge saga that's been building for months, with Drew's actions painting a massive target on his back. From meddling in personal affairs to pushing boundaries in politics, he's alienated key players across Port Charles, setting the stage for a takedown that feels almost inevitable. Adding a fresh layer to this intrigue, rumors swirl that Drew's recent power plays have even caught the eye of outside investigators, hinting at federal scrutiny that could amplify his troubles. As we unpack this, it's clear Drew's illusion of invincibility is cracking, and the fallout could redefine alliances in ways no one saw coming. For what seems like an eternity, Drew has worn the crown as Port Charles' most despised figure, his decisions rubbing everyone the wrong way and sparking endless conflicts. Yet, until lately, he clung to a fragile support system with two unlikely accomplices, the sharp-tongued lawyer, Martin Gray, and the ambitious newcomer Kai Taylor. These two were his go-to helpers, offering advice and covering his tracks in the cutthroat game of local politics. But oh, how the tides have turned. Martin has fully crossed over to the enemy side, fueled by a personal grudge after Drew's latest scheme backfired spectacularly on him. Picture Martin, once a loyal strategist, now plotting in dimly lit offices with Drew's rivals, sharing insider secrets that could unravel everything. This leaves Kai as Drew's solitary pillar of support. But spoilers tease that this alliance might crumble sooner than expected. Kai's loyalty was already tested when he sabotaged his budding romance with Trina Robinson by leaking her father Curtis Ashford's confidential plans to Drew. It was a move born from misguided righteousness, but as the dust settles, Kai could realize he's backed the wrong horse. To flesh this out, let's consider how Kai's background as a rising star in Port Charles' business scene made him an ideal pawn for Drew. Yet his growing conscience might now push him toward redemption, inventing a new twist. Perhaps Kai stumbles upon hidden emails revealing Drew's manipulation of campaign funds, adding fuel to his doubts and making betrayal feel like the only moral choice. Kai's world took a positive turn with his warm connection to the wise and compassionate Stella Henry, a bond that's brought him genuine guidance amid the chaos. However, spoilers indicate this friendship could become the catalyst for Kai's awakening when he learns of Drew's ruthless pursuit of a medical fraud investigation targeting Stella. She bent the rules out of pure-hearted intent, assisting desperate patients who had nowhere else to turn. But Drew's vindictive streak led him to expose her without mercy. This isn't just about paperwork. Stella risks her cherished career as a social worker and even faces the grim possibility of jail time, all because Drew couldn't let go of a grudge. Kai, with his sense of justice, is bound to feel betrayed upon discovering how Drew twisted facts to launch this attack, shattering the facade of the great man he once admired. Expanding on this, imagine Kai reflecting on late-night conversations with Stella about ethics and family, only to see Drew's actions as a direct assault on those values. A newly invented element here could involve Kai overhearing a heated phone call, where Drew gloats about destroying Stella's reputation, igniting a fire in Kai to switch sides and protect those he cares about. This revelation positions Kai at a crossroads, forcing him to question every decision he's made in Drew's orbit, and potentially sparking a personal transformation that resonates with viewers who've followed his journey. The week of August 25th to 29th promises fireworks, as Trina Robinson uncovers a game-changing secret that ties directly into the escalating Drew debacle. This discovery isn't minor, it's the kind that exposes layers of deceit, painting Drew as an irredeemable villain who never deserved an ounce of trust. Trina, ever the resourceful and determined young woman, might stumble upon evidence like forged documents or secret recordings that highlight Drew's underhanded tactics in both his personal life and congressional role. Building on the original buzz, let's add depth by suggesting Trina's find includes a dossier on Drew's past indiscretions, perhaps linking back to his Quartermain family ties and how he's exploited them for gain. Her reaction? A fierce determination to rally support, starting with Kai, whom she approaches for assistance in what could be a meticulously planned counterstrike. Will Kai step up? Spoilers hint at a yes, offering him a shot at redemption in Trina's eyes by helping dismantle Drew's empire. This arc feels poetic, as Kai gets to demonstrate that his priorities have shifted firmly toward Trina and her circle, correcting the grave error of idolizing Drew. Inventing further details, picture Trina and Kai teaming up in a clandestine meeting at a quiet cafe, poring over clues that could lead to Drew's public humiliation, blending thriller elements with emotional reconciliation. Seizing this opportunity, Kai could prove his worth by prioritizing Trina's family above his faltering loyalty to Drew, effectively making amends for past betrayals. It was a colossal misstep to elevate Drew to hero status, but now Kai has the perfect opening to rectify it by contributing to his downfall. Drew, blissfully unaware, still believes Kai is under his thumb, maintaining that polished good guy persona that's fooled so many. This trust places Kai in an enviable spot to deceive Drew from the inside, perhaps by leaking sensitive information or sabotaging key deals. As Drew's employee, Kai likely has access to confidential files, incriminating emails, or even shady financial records that could torpedo the congressman's career. To enrich this narrative, let's introduce a fictional subplot where Kai discovers a hidden safe in Drew's office, containing proof of election tampering, giving him the ammunition needed for a devastating blow. No matter the specifics, Kai's potential turncoat move aligns perfectly as Drew's final ally defects, leaving him isolated and vulnerable. This shift might even lay the groundwork for a classic General Hospital whodunit mystery, where Drew meets a mysterious fate, and the suspect list includes nearly every resident of Port Charles, each with their own motive amplified by Drew's long list of offenses. General Hospital spoilers are buzzing with hints that Kai will undergo a profound change in his outlook, possibly leading to a betrayal that leaves Drew reeling in anger and disbelief. As the pieces fall into place, fans are on the edge of their seats, wondering if this will be the moment Drew finally faces the consequences of his arrogance. Next, we will dive into an explosive chain of events that begins with a single stolen kiss and could end with the Corinthos Davis family in permanent ruin. After weeks of sweaty palms and guilty glances, Cody Bell finally reaches his breaking point. The cowboy-turned-stable hand has been sneaking around behind Molly Lansing Davis's back, pocketing fat envelopes from Christina Corinthos Davis. In exchange for one very specific favor, Cetus Ava Jerome. Drive a wedge between Ava and Rick Lansing, and make sure any leverage Rick and Ava have over Alexis Davis evaporates. Cody never intended to follow through completely, but temptation proved too strong, and Christina's cash kept rolling in. Late one humid Friday afternoon, Molly walks into the Quartermain boathouse to retrieve forgotten legal briefs, and instead finds Cody and Ava locked in a slow, theatrical lip lock that looks ripped straight from a noir film. Molly's furious shout echoes across the docks, shattering the moment and forcing Cody to choose: continue the charade or come clean. With his conscience already weighing more than a Clydesdale, Cody blurts out the truth before he can stop himself. He admits that Christina hired him, paid him handsomely, and promised even larger sums if Ava and Rick split for good. Ava's eyes narrow like twin laser beams, and she fires back a venom-laced tirade about petty little Corinthos girls who think they can outmaneuver Ava Jerome. She threatens to expose every tawdry detail in tomorrow's Invader headline, and storms off in a swirl of silk and rage, leaving Cody and Molly alone amid the scent of motor oil and river water. Molly's reaction is pure volcanic fury. She cannot believe that Kata, her trusted friend, the guy who once helped her move an entire storage unit with nothing but a grin and a Dollywood, let her sister manipulate him. She labels him weak-willed, morally bankrupt, and a disappointment. Cody tries to defend himself, explaining that he was desperate for cash to pay off an old rodeo injury bill that the hospital sent to collections. But Molly refuses to let economics excuse betrayal. She storms away with a promise: I'm going to find out what Christina really wants, and when I do, no one will protect her. Ava, meanwhile, heads straight to the Metro Court rooftop bar where Rick Lansing is sipping a bourbon and rereading the blackmail dossier they compiled on Alexis. Ava slams her purse onto the table, informs Rick that Christina is sabotaging them with hired help, and insists they move up the timetable on exposing Alexis. Rick hesitates. He never expected Christina to act first. In an invented twist, Rick floats a countermeasure. If they drop an anonymous tip about Christina's scheme to the Port Charles press, the public backlash might derail any sympathy Christina enjoys. Ava scoffs. Anonymous tips are for amateurs. She wants Christina publicly humiliated, live-streamed, and trending. The two hatch a fresh plan to leak security footage of the boathouse kiss, complete with timestamps and payment records, ensuring maximum damage. Back at the Corinthos Davis Lake house, Molly confronts Christina with a ferocity rarely seen from the composed attorney. She lays out every fact she has: the payments, the seduction plot, and Ava's fury. Christina spins her prepared story. She only wanted to protect Molly from Ava's poisonous influence. She claims that Rick and Ava are blackmailing Alexis over a long-ago ethics violation that could strip Alexis of her law license. Molly's legal antennae twitch. The narrative is plausible, but Christina is too slick, too rehearsed. Molly demands specifics. What violation? Which client? What evidence? Christina deflects, begs Molly to trust her, and pleads for secrecy. She swears that if Alexis learns Molly knows, their mother will crumble under stress. Against her better judgment, Molly agrees to stay quiet and poorly. That night Molly can't sleep. She replays every conversation she's ever had with Christina, every half-truth, every sudden subject change. The pieces refuse to fit. In a newly imagined sequence, Molly sneaks into Alexis's home office, rifles through locked drawers, and discovers an unsigned copy of a police accident report. Rick Lansing's sedan, brake line severed, resulting collision injuring Rick and Elizabeth Baldwin. The handwriting in the margin Christina's distinctive looping script reads: ensure Ava rides with him. Molly's stomach turns icy. This isn't simple blackmail. It's attempted murder dressed up as sibling loyalty. Molly launches a private investigation using her burgeoning connections at the DA's office. She interviews the mechanic who towed Rick's car, obtains security footage from the repair shop, and cross-references timestamps with Christina's credit card records. Every breadcrumb leads back to Christina on the night the brakes were cut. Worse, Molly uncovers deleted text messages between Christina and a burner number traced to Cody. Promises of double payment if Ava takes the fatal ride and Rick becomes collateral damage. Cody's earlier confession now looks like the tip of a monstrous iceberg. Armed with hard evidence, Molly confronts Cody again. She meets him in Rice Plaza under the neon glow of the Port Charles Grill sign. She slides the accident report across a picnic table and demands the unvarnished truth. Cody Bricksh admits he was supposed to plant evidence pointing to Elizabeth, framing her as a jealous ex-lover, but he couldn't go through with it. He apologizes, tears in his eyes, confessing that Christina's plan spiraled far beyond seduction, morphing into lethal territory. Molly absorbs every word, her expression stony. She warns Cody that his next stop is the PCPD unless he agrees to testify. Cody nods, resigned. The fallout is swift and catastrophic. Molly files an injunction to freeze Christina's assets, ensuring she cannot bankroll more schemes. Alexis, blindsided, learns everything during an emergency family summit where Molly lays out photos, bank statements, and voice recordings. Alexis breaks down, realizing her daughter endangered multiple lives and smeared her professional reputation to protect a secret Alexis never even knew existed. Rick, newly discharged from physical therapy, presses charges for attempted murder, while Avicing an opportunity offers damning testimony in exchange for immunity and a primetime Invader interview. Port Charles buzzes like a kicked hornet's nest. Sonny Corinthos, furious that one of his daughters crossed a line even he rarely approaches, contemplates whether family loyalty demands he fund Christina's defense or let her face justice. Michael Corinthos worries about the family brand, fearing stockholders will flee Rora Media amid the scandal. Sam McCall tries to mediate, but even her patience frays when Christina refuses to show remorse, insisting she acted for family. The Quartermains host an emergency board meeting to determine whether Drew Kane's congressional connections can be leveraged to mitigate public relations fallout, linking storylines in classic GH fashion. For Molly, the greatest heartbreak isn't legal or financial, it's personal. She must decide whether to cut ties with the sister who once braided her hair on nervous first date nights and coached her through high school debate. In a tender, invented scene, Molly visits the PCPD holding cell where Christina awaits arraignment. Through steel bars, Christina pleads for understanding, claiming she never meant to hurt Rick or Elizabeth, only to scare Ava away from their family. Molly listens, eyes glistening, then whispers, "Intentions don't erase consequences." She walks away as Christina's sobs echo down the concrete corridor. As the dust settles, Cody prepares to testify. Ava sharpens her claws for court, and the Corinthos Davis clan faces a fracture that may never fully mend. Stay tuned, because in Port Charles the truth never stays buried for long, and every secret detonates eventually. What do you think? Will Christina find a last-minute ally to save her? Or has she burned every bridge beyond repair? Can Molly balance justice with family loyalty? Or will she harden her heart forever? Drop your predictions below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for daily General Hospital spoilers, breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes scoops.